Imagine, for a moment, a light that never turns off. A glowing rectangle in the palm of your hand, staring back at you with a cold, unblinking eye. When was the last time you allowed your eyes to rest in the shadows? Welcome to Mono Japan. Today, we look up into the canopy to find Komorebi, the Japanese word for sunlight, filtering through the leaves of trees. Why does a fleeting, uncontrolled dance of light and shadow hold the power to heal an exhausted mind? Let us explore that mystery together. We live in an age of absolute illumination. Our cities banish the night with a hum of relentless neon. Our ceilings pour down a flat, artificial glare that leaves no corner untouched, no mystery intact. Our screens burn into our retinas, offering a steady, merciless stream of information flowing in without rest. We are terrified of the dark. We have built a modern world on the belief that to see everything clearly is to understand everything. We equate brightness with progress and visibility with truth. But in this relentless flood of light, something vital has been washed away. The quiet, the nuance, the gentle poetic depth of a shadow. We are utterly exhausted, not because our bodies are failing, but because our senses are given no place to hide. We have forgotten how to close our eyes. We have forgotten how to simply sit and watch the dust motes dance in a quiet room. The Japanese language holds a mirror to nature. When a profound feeling cannot be captured by the human mind, it is captured by the environment. Komorebi is one of these untranslatable treasures. It is composed of 3 simple characters: tree, escape, or leak, and sun. It translates literally to the sunlight leaking through the trees, but translation always loses the soul of the thing. Komorebi is not an object. You cannot touch it, you cannot buy it, pack it in a suitcase, or hoard it for a dark winter day. It is an event. It is a fragile collision of elements that exists only for a fraction of a second, never to be repeated in exactly the same way. The sun must hang at the perfect angle in the sky. The wind must breathe softly through the branches. The leaves must tremble. And you, the observer, must be still enough to witness it. It is a silent symphony played out on the forest floor. Let us step away from the overwhelming noise of the modern city. Let us travel back to the 15th century, to the Muromachi period. Imagine a quiet wooden temple nestled deep in the mist-shrouded mountains of Kyoto. The autumn air is sharp and cool, carrying the scent of damp earth and ancient pine. A solitary Zen monk sits on the polished wooden veranda, gazing out into an empty moss garden. He is not reading a sacred text. He is not reciting a chanted sutra. He is simply watching the ground. Above him, an ancient maple tree stretches its gnarled branches toward the pale sky. The afternoon sun begins to lower, casting its golden weight against the heavy canopy. But the light does not fall all at once. It is broken. It is fractured by 1,000 trembling green leaves. What falls to the velvet moss below is a delicate, shifting mosaic of gold and ink. The wind stirs. The mosaic shatters, then instantly reforms. A visual manifestation of an ocean that never moves. What did this monk think as he watched the shadows sway across the silent stones? He did not see just the weather. He saw the very nature of existence. He saw Mujo. Mujo is the fundamental Japanese understanding that all things are impermanent. Nothing lasts. Nothing remains unchanged. In the West, impermanence is often viewed as a terrible tragedy. We build towering monuments of stone and steel to defy the passage of time. We desperately chase youth, terrified of the fading light, trying to freeze the clock. But in the quiet aesthetic of ancient Japan, impermanence is the very source of beauty. The Komorebi is breathtaking precisely because it will vanish the moment a cloud covers the sun. It is beautiful because it cannot be held. If the light were painted onto the ground, frozen forever in perfection, it would lose its magic. Its fleeting nature, its inevitable death, is what makes it precious. Consider the profound paradox of this phenomenon. A bright, empty sky gives us light, but it gives us no Komorebi. To create this magic, the light requires an obstacle. It requires the leaves. It requires the darkness. Without the shadow, the light has no shape. Without the barrier, the light cannot dance. Is this not a perfect reflection of our own human lives? We constantly pray for a clear, cloudless sky. We wish for a life entirely free of obstacles, free of sorrow, free of struggle. We want a direct, unbroken path of sunlight from birth to death. But an unbroken sky can be blinding. An empty horizon can be terribly lonely. It is the leaves, the complications, the barriers, the unexpected and violent winds of fate that give our lives texture. Our struggles cast deep shadows, yes, but those very shadows carve the light of our joy into something breathtaking. Your grief, your failures, your moments of profound doubt, they are the canopy. They filter the glaring, overwhelming intensity of life into a softer, more beautiful pattern. They allow you to see the golden moments of warmth more clearly. Empty space is not emptiness. There is no beauty without the dark. The Japanese reverence for this filtered light did not stay out in the wild forest. It was carefully, deliberately brought indoors. Think of the traditional Japanese room, the washitsu. There are no heavy stone walls blocking out the world entirely. There are no large clear glass windows inviting the harsh, aggressive glare of the midday sun. Instead, there is shoji, sliding doors made of delicate wooden lattices and thin, translucent washi paper. Why go to all this trouble? Why use a material as fragile as paper to protect oneself from the elements? Because the paper does not kill the light. It tames it. The shoji screen acts as a second canopy. When an ancient plum tree stands just outside the temple, its shadow falls upon the paper. From inside the dim room, the inhabitant watches the silhouette of the branches sway against the glowing white screen, a silent cinema of nature, a shadow play orchestrated by the unseen wind. The outside world is brought inside, not as a harsh reality, but as a gentle suggestion. The glare is subtracted. Only the soft, diffused essence remains. This is the Japanese aesthetic of subtraction. By removing the harshness, by narrowing the focus, the true depth of the light is revealed. In the world of the Japanese tea ceremony, chado, this manipulation of light is an art form. A great tea master would design his rustic tea room, the chashitsu, with small, precisely placed windows. He knew exactly where the sun would be at 3 o'clock in the afternoon in late November. He knew that a single ray of light would pierce the gloom, illuminating only the steam rising from the tea bowl. He understood that to appreciate the light, one must first embrace the shadow. It is beautiful because it is incomplete. Now, return to the present moment. Look around you. You may not be sitting on the veranda of a 15th century temple. You may be sitting on a crowded, noisy train, surrounded by glowing screens. You may be at a desk piled high with obligations, bathed in fluorescent light. You may feel the heavy, suffocating weight of a world that demands your attention every single second. Your mind is a sky without clouds, burning with the heat of 1,000 modern anxieties. How do you find peace in such a loud, glaring place? Modern society tells you that peace is a product. It tells you to buy an expensive plane ticket, to download a meditation app, to escape to a distant luxury retreat. It tells you that peace requires a grand, costly gesture. But the quiet wisdom of Komorebi tells us something entirely different. Peace is not found by escaping the world. Peace is found by changing how you look at it. You do not need to own a private forest to see the light filter through the leaves. There is a tree growing from a square of dirt on the sidewalk of your busy street. There is a small overlooked park wedged between the concrete towers of your city. There is a window in your room where the evening sun catches the drifting dust in the air. The magic is already there. It is happening right now, completely free of charge. It is completely indifferent to the chaos of human affairs. But to see it, you must do something very difficult. You must stop. You must lower the glowing rectangle from your hands. You must silence the desperate modern need to be productive. Komorebi cannot be summoned. You cannot schedule it in your digital calendar. You cannot command the wind to blow at a specific time just to suit your mood. It demands your total surrender. It requires you to simply sit and wait and be. This act of sitting, of doing absolutely nothing but observing the play of light, is an act of profound rebellion. In a world that measures your worth entirely by your output, watching shadows on the wall is an act of defiance. It is a silent declaration that your soul requires nourishment that cannot be measured, monetized, or optimized. When you watch the light dance on the ground, your breathing naturally slows. The tight, painful knot in your chest begins to loosen. You realize that the world is much older and much larger than your immediate problems. The tree casting the shadow has been standing there for decades, perhaps centuries. It has weathered violent storms, bitter winters, and scorching summers, and yet it simply stands, offering its leaves to the wind. It turns the harsh, blinding light of the sun into a quiet, dancing poetry. Can we not learn to do the same with the hardships of our own lives? Imagine your own heart as the forest floor. Over the years, it has become cluttered and overgrown, fallen branches of heavy regret, dead leaves of past sorrows and unspoken words. The soil is cold, hidden away from the healing touch of the sun. But then, a gentle, unexpected breeze moves through the heavy canopy above. The leaves part. Just for a moment, a single beam of warm golden light touches the dark earth. It moves, it dances, it illuminates a tiny patch of green moss you never even knew was there. It does not banish all the shadows from the forest. It does not burn away the painful history of the woods. It simply exists alongside the darkness, transforming it into something beautiful. This is the true healing power of Komorebi. It teaches us that we do not need to fix everything to find peace. We do not need to cut down the entire forest just to let the light in. We only need to appreciate the fleeting moments of warmth when the wind finally allows them to fall upon us. A quiet cup of coffee in the early morning before the house wakes. The sound of rain tapping against the window pane. The sudden, genuine smile of a passing stranger. These are the filtered lights of our daily lives. They are incredibly brief. They are painfully fragile. They will pass. But that is exactly why we must cherish them. The next time you walk beneath a canopy of trees, do not rush. Do not look down at the screen in your hand. Look at the ground ahead of you and watch the shadows play. Let the wind dictate the rhythm of the light. Let the profound impermanence of the moment wash over you and wash away the noise of the day. If you have found a moment of stillness beneath these branches with me today, please leave a fallen leaf in the quiet garden known as the comment section. Share a fleeting moment of beauty you noticed in your own life today. And if you wish to walk this shadowed path again, please place the stone known as the subscribe button. It will quietly guide you back to this sanctuary whenever the modern world becomes too bright. The wind dies down, the leaves fall still, the light shifts, and the moment is gone forever. But the peace it brought remains. This was Mono Japan.